Hello everyone. So for today's video, this is part 2 of the Mandala project. If you have not seen part 1, I'll leave a link somewhere around this screen for you to click on that and check that out when you have a second. So this mandala is 11 inches in diameter. It took about 4.5 hours to do. And for the audio today, as I was getting ready to record my audio for this video, Allison begged me to do it herself. She's like, "Mommy, please let me record. I want to be the one talking in your videos." So I am going to hand it over to her. I have no idea what she's going to say, so please bear with me, and hopefully she'll do a good job, because I'm going to upload it no matter what she says here. So here she goes.
Hello, my name is Allie, as you should probably know, considering she mentions me a lot in her videos while she's thinking of stuff to say, so she just says random stuff and she mentions me a lot. So I did not actually ask to record.
You did too, fool.
I simply sat there for hours staring at her, begging, "Please let me record this video, please." And she was finally like, "Okay, you can record this video, just this one video, because I know it has been your dream ever since I started this YouTube video, this YouTube channel, not video." So, yeah, here I am. Here she is drawing this thing with her made up compass thing with this pen that at first I thought would write in white ink. I didn't look at this at all when she got the package. At first I thought it would write in white ink because the pen was white, and typically white pens are white unless they are like Bic pens or something like that, you know. So at first I thought it was that, and then she started drawing with it, and then I saw that it was black ink, and I was like, oh, that's neat. So yeah, it turns out it wasn't white. It was not white ink. So here she is drawing some arrowheads. In that weird clip over there, she was probably watching Dexter. It was just a clip that she had, and she was too lazy to edit that out.
Gee, thanks.
You're welcome. Anyways, the story of the pen, while we're talking about random stuff, the story of the pen, she had ordered this pen off of Jet Pens, and I was sleeping while she ordered it, because I judge her when she orders more pens, because she already has so many pens. If you just saw how many pens she had, ridiculous. And about every year she gets through a good gallon-sized plastic bag of pens, of random pens that she has bought, that I don't even know where most of them came from. So she went on Jet Pens in the middle of the night, ordered these while I was sleeping, and then a couple days later, she had said something like, "Oh, I should be getting one of my packages pretty soon," and I was like, "What did you order?" And at first I thought it was an orchid, because at the time she was really obsessed with buying orchids, I think.
I'm still obsessed with buying orchids. I love orchids.
Oh yeah, you bought an orchid recently. Not too, yeah, recently, but like 2 or 3 days ago, wasn't it?
It was about a week ago.
About a week ago. I think that's a song. You're gonna get so many people, if you have any kids or teens or people in their 20s, just commenting about a week ago. Anyways, so I asked her what she had ordered, and she was like, "Nothing." And at first I said to her, "You bought another orchid, didn't you?" And you were like, "No," and she said, no, I didn't buy that." And then I remembered her being on the Jet Pens website and kind of looking, and then she X'd out of the tab. And I didn't think that she would go back on the website. And then I was like, did you order pens? And she was like, yes. So that came, and yeah.
She always makes me feel guilty when I purchase pens. Because it is true. I have a ton of pens. Way more than what I showed you on my desk tour video. But every time I order pens, she makes me feel guilty about it. But the reason I had to order new pens is because, well, this is going to sound like such a lame excuse. It is because I ordered a new planner, which I probably also didn't need. But when I get my new planner, I need new pens, right? So, yeah. And I saw those Marvila pens on jetpens.com, and I ordered them because, well, I'm a sucker for trying new pens, and yeah. Anyways, keep going now. Keep talking.
Yeah, so that's just one more pen to the mountain of pens that we already have. Maybe we could fill Mount Everest with your pens. I don't know. Yeah. So, the thing with pens is that she likes really bold points, and every time I would try and steal a pen from hers, I would kind of cringe because I don't like bold pointed pens, and she likes normal pens, and I like gel pens. Normal pens, I don't know how to explain them. They're like...
Okay, I'm going to translate for her because
Yeah.
apparently she doesn't know pen terminology.
Nope.
I like ballpoint pens.
Yeah.
She likes gel pens. I like 1.3 millimeter tips. She likes fine point and ultra fine point, like 0.3, 0.4.
As fine as they'll go.
As fine as she can find. That's what she likes. So our taste in pens is completely different.
Also, she likes blue pens when she's writing with them, and I like black pens. So that also makes it difficult to find a pen of hers when I'm searching for one.
But I have a good reason for liking blue pens over black pens.
I've never heard it. Oh, yes, I have.
Black pens, because I like ballpoint pens, black pens are really hard to find that actually write in black. Even though it says black and the cap is black and everything leads to black, it's sort of grayish or almost black or slightly black.
I've never seen it be grayish, but I've seen a lot of ballpoint pens that are black ballpoint pens that are more blue than they are black, and that annoys me a lot.
Yeah, I like blue pens because of that reason. But I do like writing with like Pigma microns and things, but I use those for drawing, so I'm not about to use them for writing random things in my planner all the time. But I also use a ton of different pens for my planner, not just ballpoint pens. I like the, when I'm using colored pens, now here's another random thing. When I use colored pens, I like felt tip pens. Like the Statler Triplus fine liners or the Stabilo .88 pens or something along that line. Even the Papermate flares are good, but that is because the ballpoint pens that write in color tend to skip a lot. So like when you're writing with the colored pen or whatever, it like skips and it really annoys me. So I like felt tip pens for that. But still not really gel pens. Like, I've tried Allison's G2s, which happen to be her favorite.
Not sponsored.
You're such a dork. Yeah, nothing in this video is sponsored. I just don't like the G2 pens. I'm not a fan of them.
The reason that I don't like her ballpoint pens Here's a little clip of her just resting
Oh yeah,
for a
but
minute.
this is where the maintenance guy came to fix our shower, and I apparently forgot to press stop on the recording device.
Yet again, too lazy to edit that out.
Allison, I'm not lazy. It was
Then why didn't you edit this out?
because when I save the file, what I do is when I record these videos, it takes so long that I have about 20 different clips that I have to piece together. So I just do it all at once, and then I save the file. So now all of the 20 files turn into one file. And apparently those two things were in these 20 files. And it took me an hour and a half for it to turn into one file. So instead of going back and doing it again and editing those pieces out and waiting another hour and a half, I'm just leaving it in there. Anyways, go right ahead.
The reason that I don't like ballpoint pens is that it seems like the ink collects up on the side, and then all of a sudden, while you're writing, you get these big gloops of ink, and it's just annoying, and it smears. And then once you use gel pens, you're just writing, and there's no gloops. They dry almost immediately. At least the G2 pens do. And they just write so much better, in my opinion.
You are right. The ballpoint pens that I have do gloop up sometimes and leave a bloop of ink on the paper. But that is because I have such a wide tip on mine. If you use normal medium points or something like that, you don't run into that problem very often. But I'm used to it, and I would rather deal with the bloops because I like the thicker tips.
And the thing with the bloops, we're calling them bloops now, whenever it does that, it seems like the ink bleeds through the page, which is not something that you would be expecting for ballpoint pens.
It doesn't bleed through the page. It's not like the pen explodes or anything.
Well, you can see the ink through the page when it bloops. I love how specific we are. And sometimes she gives me all of the notebooks that she doesn't like. So she used a 5-star notebook once, and she hated it. So she gave it to me, and I decided to take a ballpoint pen and write in it, write in the 5-star notebook, and it bled through, and you could see the ink through it really, really well, and I just didn't like that. The G2 pens didn't do that much. And the finest tip G2 pen that I have ever gotten was a .38. Yeah, .38, which I loved. The only problem with it, it came in a package of 2. And both of the pens, they didn't run out of ink, but for some reason they just like stopped working. So you couldn't get any more ink out of them, or it was very difficult to, or it skipped a lot. Like there was more skipping than there was ink on the page. So I just gave up on that size. And
that's what happens when you choose a ink that has a needle tip.
Well, I did like it until it stopped working. And now the finest tip that I like in the G2 pens are 05.
I'm really picky about what I write with and what I write on. I've mentioned this before. I don't know why, but the paper that I write on has to be a certain thickness. It has to be a certain texture. The lines have to be just right. I can't stand wide ruled notebooks. It drives me crazy.
Oh, I can't either.
They drive me crazy. I like college ruled or thinner, if possible. I would rather have a thinner one. And I also like writing on graph paper. Writing on graph paper is a lot of fun. I don't know why. It's just the way I am, and I've always been weird as far as paper and pens are concerned. When I was about 12 or 13, my mom asked me what I wanted for my birthday one year, and I told her that I wanted everything that she got me to be pen and paper related. I wanted a stationary birthday, And she thought I was crazy and she wouldn't do it, but yeah, so it never happened, but it would have been my dream present when I was younger. Even still, I still love getting pens. That's why I order so much on jetpens.com. But I kind of hide those purchases because I know it is a bit ridiculous, and I know Allie will pick on me, so I try not to order too often.
Yeah. I can relate to a lot of that except for the pen obsession and the stationery birthday. But the graph paper, I don't like writing on. I don't think I've ever liked writing on graph paper. And for science, we had to write on graph paper for like 1 or 2 classes. Even though she wanted us to get an entire package of it, which was no problem considering I live with her. And she has quite a bit to spare. So we had to write on the graph paper, and I hated it. And for some reason, I feel like I have to write a letter per block. And that just screws up my handwriting, and it looks awful. And I just can't. No, I just don't like it. Like, my handwriting is messy enough already. It doesn't need to be worse.
It's getting better, though.
It is. It is getting better. And I do like it a little more. Yeah.
We talked a really long time about pens. And to be honest with you, I could probably talk all day about pens. It's actually kind of an obsession, so maybe we should change the subject. Oh, hey, I know what we should talk about. Let's talk about the fact that I can finally announce that I have a coloring book coming out. After finishing my Zendoodle Unleashed book, my publisher asked me if I would be interested in doing a coloring book. And I said, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I had already drawn about 5 or 10 pieces that were ready to go for a coloring book. I was already thinking about doing something like that. And was already kind of working on it in between. Like, I would draw something for a coloring book as I was watching television or something. And I would just set them aside for a future project. But they asked me if I'd be willing to do a coloring book, and I said yes. I had to have 100 pieces done by August, and okay, so I made a mistake. Do you see that right there? I was stupid enough to check my email on my phone. I grabbed my phone and had the pen in my hand still, went like that, and boom. Major mistake. Did not want this there at all. So now I have to fix it. And there's only one way to do it, and I don't want to do it, but I have no choice. So we'll see if this is a happy mistake or a sad mistake, but either way, right now I'm sort of irritated with myself. This is a very stupid mistake. Whether it ends up being happy or not, it's still very stupid of me. So let's go ahead and fix it. Wow, I was pretty harsh on myself in that clip. Wow. I recorded that at about 4 o'clock in the morning, so yeah, I was pretty frustrated with myself at that point.
It wasn't 4 o'clock. It was around 2 o'clock, I remember, because that was around when I was going to go to sleep.
What? I don't let you stay up until 2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, my coloring book. Yeah, so I had all these pieces done at the beginning of July, and I sent them off to my publisher, and they're being scanned and things like that, and I guess it's going to be available in January. It's going to be released. It's available for pre-order now if you're interested. I'll leave a link down below to the Amazon page. It does not have a cover yet, so when you click on it, it's going to say no image available yet, at least for a little while. Like I said, they're just scanning the artwork now, and then they'll create an actual cover for it and everything. So yeah, and you see me here. Let's get to the video. Let's talk about the video for a second. Every time
For a second.
it looks like I'm waving at the camera, but I'm not.
Hi.
Like, let me do it again. Let me show you again. Right there.
Hi, camera.
So what happens is my hand really, really cramps up a lot when I'm using my compass for this long and have to hold it really steady and things like that. My hand cramps up quite a bit. So every once in a while, like right there, I have to stop and stretch out my hand, and usually my thumb cracks, and yeah. So there is the mistake, and I'm sure that once I add my extra details and everything, that won't even be visible anymore. But I'm still irritated with myself for doing that. I did, however, think that the addition that I made was a happy mistake, and I'll show you why. When you look here, this is the mandala that I haven't done yet. This will be part 3. When I would do this, if I didn't add these 2 extra rings that were caused by the mistake, then I would have to figure out how to make this mandala go in between these little spaces where the V's are. So that would have been really, really difficult, and I think it would have been really confusing to do. So with these 2 added rings here, there's a solid definition between this mandala and the 3rd mandala. So it's good in the end, but it doesn't take away from the fact that I'm still irritated with myself for making that mistake. Not because it was bad, but it was just such a dumb thing to do. Like, I should know better by now than to be working on something for 8 hours and make such a stupid mistake. So, okay, I'm going to start speeding up again and finish this off. Yeah, I was really harsh on myself. Here I am adding more definition to some of the curves just like I did before. And I'm also shading along with it. So yeah. Anyways, back to Allison.
What were we previously talking
I
about?
have no idea. We were talking about my coloring book for a little while. Before that, we were talking about pens and paper.
Yeah. We could go back to pens and paper.
No, let's change the subject off of pens and paper. I'm sure they don't want to hear the whole 26 minutes worth of pens and paper and stuff.
Oh.
Let's talk about school. School's coming up pretty soon. About a month, you'll be starting school again.
Yeah. School.
What grade are you going to be in?
8th, I think.
Are you excited?
Yay!
Do you know any of the 8th grade teachers?
Please.
Are you excited to see your friends again?
Kinda.
You should have invited some of your friends over this summer.
Well, it's not too late. There's still, like, a month left.
Oh, I've got a friend coming over. One of my friends from New York has an event in Nashville, so she announced to me that she is going to come by this Thursday. So I'm pretty excited about that. She'll be here for a few days with her daughter. And, yeah, it's been over a year since I've seen anybody from New York, so it'll be nice to catch up and chit-chat and things.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. The weird thing about school here, not really weird, but weird for me, is in New York, we would have school start in September, and it would end in June. And here, school starts in August and ends in May. So that's a little bit of a change. And I talked about it to some of my friends, and they were like, that's really weird. And I was like, I thought that too when I moved here. So yeah, that was a little bit of a change.
Yeah.
That and the fact that everybody says y'all.
And walk slow.
Oh my god. People that walk... That's like my biggest pet peeve is when people walk slow.
You walk like a speed demon, though.
I practically run. And that's how it was in the hallways in New York. We had 3 minutes in between classes, and we had like 3 or 4 flights of stairs. And basically, my first class was in the basement, and then my second class would be on the 2nd floor. So I would have to go up, like, what is that?
3 flights of stairs.
3 flights of stairs just to get to my second class. And luckily, I was only late a couple times, but that was in the beginning of the year. So there's my excuse for that. But they don't really count you late when it's like that. So yeah.
Alright, so I'm just finishing up. I'm going to finish up the audio, so say goodbye, Allison.
Goodbye.
I just wanted to talk about this real quick. I am not doing all this shading and defining things, this whole mandala in this video, because this video is already almost a half an hour long, so I knew it was going to be this long when I was recording all this, so I figured I should stop and leave the rest of this mandala for the next video. Otherwise, the next video would be really short, because the last mandala that I have to do is much smaller than the previous two. I mean, it's the same size kind of as the part 1 mandala. It's the half a mandala, but this one here is overlapping it quite a bit, so you're not going to see very much of the third mandala. So here is a close-up little overview of what I did, and yeah, I know I did really poorly. Coming up very shortly, I'm going to start shaking the camera like crazy. I didn't do a very good job, which is why I'm also adding a excuse me, I just choked on water. Which is why I added a picture at the end of this video as well of what I've completed today. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already. Leave a comment down below, tell me what you think. If you have any questions, make sure you ask it down below in the comment section, because my Q&A video is going to be for the happen for the part 3 of the mandala project. So I will see you all again very soon.